Now, we're in a bit of a strange situation because we, of course, didn't get a post-match press conference at Goodison Park on Wednesday because of Arne Slot being sent off by referee Michael Oliver. And that meant that this pre-match press conference for the game against Wolves at Anfield this Sunday was a bit of a debrief from Goodison Park, and also, of course, throwing ahead to the weekend. So it wasn't surprising at all that the first two questions were harking back to that controversial 2-2 draw against Everton and everything that surrounded that. Now, Arne Slot, of course, the sending off was really the main talking point from it, and really the reasons why that happened. There's been a little bit of speculation, everybody watching the clips back trying to ascertain exactly what went on there, and was it a handshake? Was he too firm in his handshake with Michael Oliver? Was it something that he said to the referee or something he maybe said to the fourth official? We're still not quite sure on that, and of course that was put to Arne Slot, what exactly went on there. Now, unsurprisingly, he was kind of unwilling to go into details around that. Obviously, the FA are investigating at the moment. They're looking at the referee's report and deciding whether any charges will be brought against Arne Slot over the events at Goodison Park. I did see that on the Premier League's official website yesterday, they announced that Arne Slot was going to serve a 2-match ban. It's my understanding that is not the case. That was inaccurate information from the Premier League. And as I say, it's down to the FA to decide, depending on what they read in the referee's report, in terms of how they go forward. Now, it's hard for us to say how that's going to go, to be honest, in terms of whether Arne Slot will get a touchline ban or any other sort of punishment, because we don't exactly know what went on. And as I say, the manager himself wasn't particularly keen to kind of confirm exactly whether it was something he said to the referee that he's taken exception to, or whether it was that handshake. So we will have to see how he gets on in terms of that. But he did have some reflections on the moment in the game and his behaviour around that I thought was interesting. In the direct quote was, "The emotions got the better of me. If I could do it differently, I'd love to." Now, he said he doesn't want to go into anything beyond that, really. He obviously regrets how he acted, and obviously he was fuming at the full-time whistle, but he says he doesn't want to disturb the process. So as I say, we've got to kind of hang in tight and see what the FA say. But at the moment, unless we hear of a charge in the next hour or so, or the next couple of hours, Arne Slot will be on the touchline to face Wolves. We do know that, but it's just a case of wait and see on the rest. Now, of course, he wasn't the only red card that was handed out to a Liverpool player at Goodison Park. Curtis Jones also sent off after the full-time whistle for squaring up to Abdoulaye Doucouré, who'd been kind of taunting the Liverpool fans that it ended without them winning when it looked so certain that they were going to. And he was asked about that, and Curtis getting involved in that situation and said, "Look, I like a lot that he stands up for our team and fans, but there are other ways to do that." Although he did immediately after acknowledge that, "Look, I could have acted better myself. I'll speak to Curtis, but it wasn't like I was perfect either." So I don't think he's too disappointed in Jones. But of course that means that he'll serve a 1-match suspension for this game coming up, which is a real shame for Liverpool and a real blow, because I thought he was very, very good when he came on in the derby and helped Liverpool get a little bit of control that they'd been lacking throughout the game. But unfortunately, he's going to get a suspension, and his manager's not too fuming about it, but obviously he's going to speak to him and say that he doesn't really want to see a repeat of that, although he doesn't want to see a repeat of his own behaviour either. But in terms of positives from Goodison Park, there were positives as far as the manager was concerned to take from that. Obviously, it's a point that gives Liverpool a 7-point lead and puts them in a really strong position to go and win the Premier League title. But beyond that, he didn't particularly love the performance, but he liked the mental strength that Liverpool showed in the game. The fact that they hung in there when things weren't going their way. It was a really tricky one. They tried to match Everton physically, and they dealt with the situation as well as they could in terms of that, up against a very big and physical team who they seemingly were giving much more fouls away against. So it was a difficult game, but Liverpool almost put themselves in the position to win it, bar for that last moment, that sucker punch at the end. And the manager said about that, he felt that they were much stronger than last season in terms of mentality and the way that they cope with setbacks. Of course, last season's game ended in a defeat, but Liverpool come away with a draw and they were seconds away from earning a win. So Arne Slot took that as a positive, and it's something he kind of said that he really does want to take forward and really dwell on as a major positive from it, that the team stuck together. So he really liked that element of performance. So he is able to take some positives from it. Now, of course, it wasn't just all about Everton. We do have to throw it forward to the next game, which of course is Wolves on Sunday, and he was asked a little bit about that game and how the team is looking. Of course, I mentioned earlier that Curtis Jones is suspended, so that is a blow in terms of the team news, but he's not going to be the only absentee. One that's come a little bit out of left field here is that Cody Gakpo is a doubt for this game with a knock. You may have noticed when he came off against Everton, he looked like he was moving a little bit gingerly, and Arne Slot has confirmed today that that is a knock and an issue that makes him a doubt in his words. I do wonder whether because it's Sunday that gives him an extra day to maybe get there, but usually when Arne Slot says someone's a doubt or they've got a knock or whatever, we don't see them for the next game. I suppose the upside is that he didn't make it sound like it was too serious, so if he does miss Wolves, hopefully he won't be missing for the game after that. But of course with the form he's in, albeit it was quite quiet and poor at Goodison Park, I thought, he is a really good goal scorer for Liverpool and really important, so he will be a miss. Now, in terms of the other misses, Joe Gomez is still out with a muscle issue. We didn't get any extra detail on that one today, unfortunately, because there were so many other talking points. But obviously, Arne Slot confirmed that he is going to be out for a while, and or he's going to be out for this game, and it does sound like he's going to be out for a while as well. When you look at some of the reporting around it, Paul Joyce at the Times with a story yesterday, looking like maybe even considering surgery. So it's not good news for Joe Gomez, and I don't think we'll be seeing him for a little while. In terms of other absentees, the final one is Tyler Morton, who has got a shoulder injury at the moment, going to be out for a couple of months. So again, he's another one who won't be involved, but you maybe wouldn't have expected him to be anyway. Now, in terms of other talking points from the press conference, Arne Slot also spoke about Wolves' quality. Obviously they've won the last two, they're turning things around a little bit, got themselves outside of the relegation zone and moving forward. And he kind of highlighted Matheus Cunha as one of the players who is a real difference maker for Wolves, and someone that Liverpool are going to have to be wary of. He said that the biggest difference coming from Holland is that you notice the quality level of the players that are outside of the big clubs is so high, and Cunha's a really good example of that. He can be really dangerous tomorrow. It's interesting that he highlighted him as well in terms of if Liverpool are going to make any changes in that centre forward position in the summer, is a facilitator like Cunha something they would look at. He's certainly a very, very good player, so we have to keep an eye on that one. Now, of course, the main focus coming into this game is to kind of bounce back. Obviously, it's not the worst result in the world against Everton to get a draw there. It's such a tricky game, specifically for Liverpool, probably more than any other club in the Premier League, and to be that close to winning but still get a point that puts you 7 points clear isn't a disaster. But I think you have to go into this home game against Wolves, which is one of the more straightforward games in this run. Obviously, it's City away, Villa away, Newcastle at home. Wolves looks the easier fixture on paper, so I think Liverpool, they cannot afford to be dropping points in this one. That would give too much encouragement to Arsenal and any of the other teams around them, really, that this is going to turn into a wobble. So very, very important that they show that ability to bounce back in this game and get the 3 points. I think it's really, really important. And of course, I love the fight that you've seen from the players as well since the results at Goodison Park. The manager liked the mentality. So I think you've seen social media posts from Diogo Jota and Ibrahima Konate as well that kind of went down those lines of we're all together, everyone's against us. So maybe they're trying to create a little bit of a siege mentality. I get the impression maybe that messaging has come from the manager, and that's the idea he wants to create, is to just try and get them through this big run, because I think this run of fixtures is an opportunity for Liverpool. They can't necessarily lose the Premier League title in this run, but I think if they get good results from this point onwards, they can absolutely win it. They can end all hope that Arsenal have got by getting enough wins on the board. But of course, you have to get the results, and they have to go to Wolves. Wolves have to come to Anfield on Sunday, and Liverpool need to dispatch them and maybe do it comfortably as well, with so many big tests on the horizon. So of course I will be at Anfield for that one, for my post-match review. Very much looking forward to it. It is an opportunity, as I say, I will use this phrase again, to bounce back. Liverpool need to do that, so I'm very much looking forward to that game. Let me know what you think about the talking points in the comments. If you can like and subscribe, it's always massively appreciated as well, and I'll see you on Sunday for my post-match review. See you then.